The New Game Plus event happened yesterday, and we learned about some new games, plus some other stuff. Tony Hawk 1 and 2 HD is getting some new content added into it, and finally, a new Pokemon game, Pokemon Unite, was announced for the Nintendo Switch this morning, and well, Pokemon fans aren't really feeling this game. What's going on, guys? I'm RGT85. If this is your first time on the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. But without any further ado, let's talk about what's going on in the world of video games. So like I said, yesterday was the New Game Plus event, which was basically showcasing games from sort of smaller companies. A lot of Japanese companies were going to be showing what games are going to be coming out for 2020 and beyond on various platforms. And there was actually some pretty cool stuff on here that I don't see a lot of people talking about, so I want to show you guys basically the announcements that I was excited for with this event. The first thing that I thought was interesting was there was a No More Heroes 3 troll sort of thing with Suda51, where basically he was talking in front of a very, pixelated webcam, and behind him on a green screen was new footage of No More Heroes 3. Now you could sort of make out what was happening in the background. Obviously this was Suda51 being Suda51, but it definitely was a decent look at how the game will sort of look, even though you have to sort of look past Suda with this. It's obviously just traditional Suda51 when it comes to how he likes to do things, but I do think it is cool that now some gameplay obviously is starting to get out there for No More Heroes 3. I definitely feel that this is going to be a 2020 release for the Nintendo Switch, probably sometime in the fall season. So cool stuff to see that the development of this game is going along nicely, and Suda51 gonna Suda51. The next announcement from this event was one of my favorite announcements from this event, and that is Bloodstained Curse of the Moon 2. Now, of course, Bloodstained Ritual of the Night came out. It was a pretty solid game, but I really liked Bloodstained Curse of the Moon, which was more of an NES-style Castlevania game that came out, of course, on all platforms, and I thought it was really good. It was a budget title, a really fun sort of game that I don't think many people anticipated it being a rousing success, but it ended up being a rousing success. So much, in fact, that they are now doing a sequel to the game. You're going to have new characters alongside of Zangetsu who are being added that sort of have different gameplay elements to them. The game honestly looks a lot like the first game, but I think that's good because you don't really need to mess around with what works. I feel like this game came out and everyone pretty much loved it, so why sort of mess with success when it came to Bloodstained Curse of the Moon 2? One of the new additions in the game is that it seems like there's going to be multiplayer in this game as well, where you can play through the game with someone else. Now, I couldn't really figure out if that is going to be local multiplayer or both local and online multiplayer, but even if it's just local, I think that's pretty cool to have sort of a traditional Castlevania game in the NES style now being able to play with multiplayer. Honestly though, this game looks absolutely fantastic. I think I like Curse of the Moon better than I liked Ritual of the Night, so I'm totally on board for a new game in the Curse of the Moon series, and it's nice to see Inti Create's sort of little offshoot game that was just sort of, initially supposed to be something small is now gathering a life of its own, because it's just a fantastic game. If you haven't played Bloodstained Curse of the Moon and you like sort of NES style Castlevania games, you are really missing out on this. Now, the Nintendo Switch might have a traditional virtual console, but it seems like some companies are starting to put their games on this system from their back catalog of systems, and one of those is the Neo Geo Pocket Color, and it seems like there's going to be more games for the Neo Geo Pocket Color added to the Nintendo Switch via the eShop service, and I think that's really cool. They actually announced a new game that is coming, and that is King of Fighters R-2. Now, honestly, I don't really know much about the Neo Geo Pocket Color. I never owned one of these. I do know that a lot of people seem to enjoy this system. There were some pretty cool fighting games on this system. Of course, it's a Neo Geo system, so you're going to have that, but I just really like how this is sort of opening up the Nintendo Switch eShop to allow companies to sort of put their classic games onto the Nintendo Switch without having to do the Nintendo Switch's online service. Obviously, that online service is very limited in what systems you can get right now. Of course, you can only get the NES and the Super Nintendo, so these offshoot systems, these more quirky systems, they probably never would have came to the Switch in the first place. So I'm totally on board with this. I think it's really cool. I hope they end up bringing more systems over. Of course, you've had the arcade archives come to the Nintendo Switch as well. So the more games, the merrier, and the more retro games, the merrier. So I'm totally on board with this, and I think it's very cool. And the final game announcement that was definitely my favorite overall is that Ys 9 is getting localized and coming to the PlayStation 4 and Nintendo Switch in 2021. Now, if you know anything about me, you know that I feel Ys 8 is one of the best action RPGs on the Nintendo Switch. I just really never played the Ys games growing up or anything like that, but Ys 8 was just a fantastic game. Like, I just absolutely loved the gameplay in the game because it was so much fun. The combat was so good, and Ys 9 looks absolutely awesome. Now, like I said, this game has already released released in Japan, but now it's getting a full translation and coming to the West sometime in 2021. One thing I think looks really cool is that the game takes place in a place called Prison City, and it looks like you could traverse this city in a multitude of different ways. There's like a character that's flying, and you can sort of do like ninja style jumping onto different platforms in order to get into different areas in the city. I just think the game looks really cool. It looks sort of similar to Ys 8, but that's not a bad thing. Once again, Ys 8 was just a fantastic game, so to see Ys 9 coming over to the West in 2021 was definitely very exciting. Now, of course, there was some other stuff announced during this event as well, but these are the announcements that really stuck out to me. I thought these were the best announcements from this event, and definitely some very cool stuff here that's coming out in 2020 and 2021. So I'm definitely very excited for this. Let me know what games you enjoyed from the New Games Plus event in the comment section down below. And are you as excited for Ys 9 and, of course, Bloodstained Curse of the Moon 2 like I am? Next up, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 HD is of course coming to the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One this fall, and I'm really looking forward to it. I actually pre-ordered the Xbox One Collector's Edition that came with the Tony Hawk deck on it because, I mean, that's just cool. It's a Tony Hawk deck. Like, obviously that's going to be sort of a limited thing. So I'm really looking forward to this game. Everything we've seen from the game looks absolutely fantastic. All the original skaters are reprising their role in this game and have been aged accordingly. You're going to have all of the classic levels that are going to be in the game and most of the classic songs. But now it seems like they're actually adding in new content to this game, which I think is very interesting. They're actually adding in 8 brand new skateboarders into this game. And while I'll be honest with you guys, I've sort of fallen off the professional, skateboarding stuff. I did recognize a few names on here. Leo Baker is going to be in the game, Nyjah Houston, who's been grinding for quite a while now, and of course Riley Hawk. But beyond that, I'm kind of unfamiliar with these skaters, but it's definitely cool to see that they're adding in more characters into this game, because it almost makes me feel like there's going to be more hidden stuff in this game. I would not be super surprised if there's a hidden level or two within Tony Hawk 1 and 2 that are just brand new to this game if they're willing to add in more characters as far as skaters are concerned. So what just sort of seemed like it could potentially be an easy cash grab is quickly becoming a game in and of its own with new character additions for the Tony Hawk game, and I'm just really looking forward to this game. I think this game looks absolutely awesome. It is a shame that it's not coming to the Nintendo Switch, but I had to pick the game up anyway. So yeah, they're adding in new stuff to Tony Hawk, and I definitely think it sort of opens the door to add in additional content as well. You also can get the warehouse demo available if you pre-order the game, which is sort of a throwback to, of course, you can also get a demo for the game as well with the warehouse level to sort of check out the game if you pre-ordered the game. So I obviously have already pre-ordered the game. Where is my demo code? I want to start playing it. But yeah, it's definitely some very cool stuff coming out of the Tony Hawk franchise, and I'm definitely really looking forward to playing this game when it finally releases, or at least checking out the demo. Finally, Pokemon. This did not go over very well. So of course, last week there was a pretty sizable Pokemon event. We got some new information on the Pokemon Sword and Shield DLC. We of course got Pokemon Snap 2, which I am really looking forward to because I love Pokemon Snap. But at the end of the presentation, they said that there was going to be another presentation happening this week, and a lot of people got very excited. Obviously, if you're talking about something and you're doing a separate presentation for something, you obviously are putting a lot of thought and effort into whatever it is you're going to be announcing. You could have easily put in something into this presentation that you were initially doing if it was something small. So a lot of people got their hopes up and anticipation up, because why would the Pokemon Company do a separate event for just one game if it's not going to be a big game? Lots of rumors were flying around that it could be a new Pokemon Let's Go. I know Pokemon Let's Go Johto is being heavily rumored as potentially the game that was going to be announced during this. Could it be another remake of a Pokemon game? Like, expectations were through the roof with this presentation. And well, this presentation happened this morning and it did not go over very well. The Pokemon community is not happy with this. Like you guys know, I don't have a dog in this fight. Pokemon Snap 2 is definitely something I'm looking forward to, but I'm definitely not the biggest Pokemon fan in the world. But when I saw this game, I was like, oof, this isn't gonna go over very well. So the game in question is a game called Pokemon Unite, and it is a 5-on-5 free to start MOBA game. Yes, it's a MOBA. MOBA game in which you capture Pokemon with your teammates and try to defeat Pokemon on the map, and basically you are earning points while doing this, and the main goal of the game is to earn more points than the other team in the time limit allowed. Unite basically means that this game is going to be for Nintendo Switch owners and mobile players to play together, so you'll be able to play this game with your mobile friends if you have mobile friends, or play this game on your Nintendo Switch. Essentially, this is a 10-cent mobile game. It has cel-shaded graphics that really don't look all that great, and more details and a release date are coming in the near future, but wow, this game is not going over very well. If you look at the trailer over on YouTube for this game, it is getting heavily disliked, and I could definitely understand why. Like, if you're going to announce something as a separate game in a separate presentation, why would you not announce Pokemon Snap 2? Like, I think if Pokemon Company would have announced Pokemon Unite instead of Pokemon Snap 2 last week, and then talked about Pokemon Snap 2 this week, people would have been fine with it. It would have just been another sort of Pokemon game. But by creating a specific event for this, by creating its own sort of event, you definitely upped the level of expectations from the Pokemon community and just gamers in general, because it obviously is a big deal to you, but this isn't what people really want. It looks like League of Legends in a Pokemon universe, and it's like, I don't think this is what Pokemon fans really wanted. So there's a lot of disappointment out there. Obviously, we will see more from this game, get things like a release date, see how the free-to-play or free-to-start mechanics will essentially work in this game. I could definitely see this game being a big sink as far as putting money into it, because I feel there's going to be level caps and things like that with certain Pokemon. But yeah, Pokemon Unite, definitely not the most popular decision right now for the Pokemon Company, but are you excited for this game? Let me know in the comments down below. Alright, so that is going to do it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Be sure to let me know your thoughts on everything in the comments section down below. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. Check out some other videos on the channel while you're here. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.